Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I'll be reviewing the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer. Now, I've only been playing it for about a day, but it's given me enough time to really explore a lot of things that the multiplayer offers. And if you missed my single player review, I posted it yesterday. The link is in the video description. Now, when hopping into the multiplayer for the first time, it certainly feels right at home as a Call of Duty multiplayer game. You've got your classes that you can modify, you can customize your score streaks, you can customize the little perks that make your class better or perform in a certain way, so you can have a stealth class or a tank class, and you can customize your weapons and your primary and your secondary, or run two primaries, depending on what kind of perks you give your class and stuff like that. So nothing too new in terms of how you can customize your character. The main thing that really separates Call of Duty Advanced Warfare from really any of the previous multiplayer titles is the ability to kind of jump around using your exosuit and using some of your special exosuit abilities. This just basically adds an extra bit of customization and kind of speeds up the gameplay. It also increases the amount of vertical gameplay in this game. Now, Call of Duty was already a fast shooter to begin with, and the addition of exosuits speeds that up even further. I would go as far to say is that this game is really more of an arena shooter than it is a tactical shooter, just because the pacing is so crazy. And I certainly don't mean that in a negative way. Arena shooters are a lot of fun. The pacing of them makes them a lot of fun to play and a lot of fun to watch. So Call of Duty kind of taking over that franchise in a sense is fine by me. Now, I tried out many of the basic guns the first day I played multiplayer, and I gotta say, one of my favorite weapons is the EM1. This thing shoots a laser beam essentially at your targets. You never need to reload the gun. It does overheat after you've been firing it for a while, but it is just so much fun to play with. It's great for hip fire, it's great for aiming down sights at longer ranges, and it just wrecks people. In fact, this gun reminds me a lot of the beam weapons that were used in Unreal Tournament or Quake 3, further influencing my opinion that Call of Duty really is more of an arena shooter, especially considering that when I was searching for games, it was very hard to find any of the more tactical game modes. I couldn't really get into too many games that were not just simply team deathmatch or free-for-all. I have no doubt that in part this is due to the fact that I'm playing on PC. The PC version of Call of Duty is not as popular, so it might have been having a hard time just trying to find a quantity of players to play the less popular game modes, but even then, it was pretty clear to see which the most popular game modes were, and that was certainly Team Deathmatch. Now, when it comes to player customization, you're not just limited to your loadout, your weapons, your gear. You can actually customize the look of your player, and these things only change the aesthetic values of your character. They don't change the performance, and I really like having a bunch of different outfit choices to pick from, and you can change the eyewear, helmets, tops, loadouts, gloves, pants, knee guards, boots, and your exosuit. So you have a lot of options at making your character look completely individual and unique from anybody else. Although this isn't crazy innovative or anything, especially not in the world of shooters, it is certainly a welcome addition to the Call of Duty franchise, and the ability to really customize and make my player look way different from somebody else actually means a lot to me as a shooter fan. And although I haven't gotten that far with my unlock tree, I do appreciate the fact that the player looks and the aesthetics are not going wild and crazy. They're giving you stuff that looks like it would be something that mercenaries would wear or soldiers would wear, and they're not really going too much beyond that. So you're probably not going to see people running around with ridiculous Team Fortress 2 style hats. It's still going to look cool and militaristic. Now, something that I had to bring up in my single player review, and again is a big factor for the multiplayer aspect of the game, is the fact that I'm playing on PC, and the PC version of the game is a port for the most part. It means that they basically designed the game for console play first, and PC as more of an afterthought, and it really does show up in some of the optimization for the PC game. First of all, there's been a lot of graphical issues, people having very big stuttering effects. Second of all, there's some very, very bad mouse customization options when it comes to sensitivity and turning around and mouse acceleration. One of the biggest problems with the PC version of the game is inconsistent mouse sensitivity. This just means when you turn around or try and aim at a target, that rate at which you turn is highly inconsistent. And you'll see in some of my gameplay clips, I make these way crazy turns, or I turn a little bit too fast and seem to be pointing in a direction I didn't mean to. That's because I'm not pointing in a direction that I want to be. And according to some Reddit users, it appears that your sensitivity is tied into your frame rate, which is pretty much the worst idea ever. I don't know if that was intentional or it's just a weird bug that somehow made it into the final version of the game, but having your sensitivity tied to your frame rate when your frame rate's highly inconsistent is pretty much just an awful idea, and it makes the game unplayable in many situations. Fortunately, there are a lot of people trying to fix this, and there are a few little fixes here and there that can improve the situation but not necessarily fix it completely. Changing your mouse polling to 250 in case you have it higher at, like, say 1000 does help out a lot. Adjusting the sensitivity on your mouse more precisely can be done through the config files in the game folders. Not an ideal situation, but it is something that you can do if you really want to dial in your sensitivity just right. Apparently mouse acceleration is on all the time. There may be a fix out there. I'll post it in the description if I can find it by the time I post this video, but all this footage here is certainly recorded with mouse acceleration on because I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. And then of course there's the general lag issues and the weird inconsistencies with replays versus what you saw in the game. That sort of seems to be a staple in the Call of Duty world and isn't too surprising to see. But we also don't have dedicated servers for the PC side, which is something that the developers certainly talked about giving us at some point during the dev cycle. So it was kind of exciting to hear that it looked like they're actually going to give PC players a little bit more dedicated support this time around. But I have to say, overall, I'm really not impressed with the PC port of the game. So much so that I would say if you have a PC and you're not super in love with COD, then I would say don't get this game for the PC. But if you have a console, you're going to have a much better time all around. Not to harp too much on the mouse sensitivity issue again, but not having the ability to change your sensitivity between aiming down sight sensitivity and hipfire sensitivity can be an issue, especially when Call of Duty has such incredibly high hipfire sensitivity versus aiming down sight sensitivity. There is a massive difference compared to other shooters out there. A lot of PC shooters are starting to implement these individual sliders. PlanetSide 2 has it, Battlefield 4 just got it, Insurgency has it, and there's countless other shooters right now that have individual sliders. This is something that I just really think COD needs to get on board with. Now, looking beyond these graphical issues and control customization issues, since I don't really think those apply to the console version of the game very much, the multiplayer is actually pretty solid. The game modes that I was able to play were a lot of fun. The map designs seem well laid out and they're visually very, very attractive looking. COD has never had a problem with making good looking maps, and this game is certainly no exception. And despite the PC issues, I will still be playing a lot of the multiplayer. It really scratches that arena shooter itch that I've been having for a while, especially now that the exosuits allow you to jump around the map really quickly and do kind of cool dodging maneuvers and stuff like that. It's a fun shooter. It's solid overall. It's not gonna like blow your mind in any way whatsoever. It's just graphically nice looking. It's fun to play. The guns are interesting and cool. The kill streaks can be fun to customize just like any of your classic COD games out there. So I will say it really does hold up as a decent COD shooter overall. It might not be the exact game that you want, especially if you're not into the extremely fast-paced arena shooter game styles, but if you are, this could be exactly what you're looking for. Again, I will reiterate that if you have a PC, there are some pretty big issues with the game right now. Hopefully the developers will get on that. They've already mentioned that they're going to be looking into fixing some of these issues, and I really hope that the PC version of this game doesn't get pushed under the carpet. Keep that in mind, guys, and I do recommend this game for the next-gen consoles, but certainly not on the PC just yet. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.